This story is by Dr. Octagon Puss. When I was really little, my parents would let me stay up late on the weekends in the living room and watch TV until I fell asleep. I really loved these times, and I would stay up later than anybody else just because I could. Well, one night, I was almost asleep on the couch when I heard a noise on our front porch. It was the sound of our old-fashioned porch swing moving back and forth. I was a little scared, so I crept toward the bay windows of my living room and peeked out towards the porch. Sitting on my front porch was an elderly woman, probably in her 50s, wearing nothing but a nightgown covered in blood, and she had a huge kitchen knife. I flipped out immediately and ran screaming into my parents' room, but was too terrified to even form words. My parents saw that I was upset, but when I was finally able to tell them what I saw, my dad just got really mad at me and told me that I was just dreaming and to go back to bed. I refused, and I kicked and cried and I screamed until he had enough and snatched my arm and dragged me towards the front porch to prove that nothing was there. I kicked, I screamed all the way to make him stop, but he kept pulling me. Finally, we got to the door. He unlocked it, swung it open, and said, "See, there's nothing there." To this day, I've never seen the look of fear and shock that was on my dad's face when that woman turned and stared at us both and slowly stood up with a knife. My dad immediately slammed the door shut and got my mom to call the police while he went and got his gun. He went back to the door with a 12 gauge and cracked the door enough to stick the barrel out. He asked her what she was doing. She said, "Somebody killed my husband, but it wasn't me." My dad told her that the police were coming, and she freaked out, grabbed a knife, and walked away. The police found her 15 minutes later trying to break into one of our neighbors' houses. Later, we found out that she was off her medication, and her and her husband got into a really bad fight, and she attacked him with a knife, but didn't seriously hurt him though. When she got out of the house, she cut it herself, either tried to commit suicide or make it look like her husband did it. Because of that, I never slept in my living room ever again.
Congratulations, you are still alive. Most people are so ungrateful to be alive, but not you. Not anymore.
This story is by the Cosby. I'm not the overly adventurous type, but a friend of mine is. A few years ago, he and a few friends of him went to an abandoned mental hospital in their city. They like to explore abandoned buildings all the time, so it's not out of the normal. So it's late one night, and there's a field of tall grass leading up to the building. There are obviously no lights on in the building, and there's just a creepy aura about it. Two of the really heavier set guys, pretty fit, came with them and stopped at the door and refused to go in. So eventually they go down the hill, floor by floor, and there's nothing in any of the rooms, but there is a crazed, mindless writing all over the walls in many of them. They finally make it to the top of the floor, and it's nothing but a long, pitch-black hallway with a door at the end of it. They walk down the hall, and being the crazy adventurous they are, decide to see what's inside. However, it's the only door in the building that's locked. Multiple guys pound on the door, they kick at the door and try to break it open, but it just won't budge. One guy shines a flashlight through the keyhole or some sort of hole in the door to see what's inside. Nothing except more crazed writing on the walls that was visible only by the faint light. After failing once again to break the door down, they gave up and walked down the hall. When they get to the end of the hall, they hear the door fling open and slam! It's still pitch black, and the only thing they can see is a huge shadowy figure in the doorway. Then they hear thumping, slowly at first, but the pacing quickens. Figures is running towards them. They sprint down the stairs faster than they ever have before in their life. All they can hear is thump, 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 thump. They make it to the first floor and burst out the door when the two guys are waiting outside still. They tell them to run, and they all sprint to the van, get in and pull away. They look out the window, and the figure still chased them. Eventually they got away, recuperated, went home, and they never forgot or explored any abandoned buildings after that since. Okay, so to start off the story, I live in Mesa, Arizona, which is basically Phoenix, Arizona, because the main cities of Arizona spread out to many cities with no border in between. Mesa is what I would call the suburbs of Phoenix. I live in an apartment complex I would describe as close to the ghetto but still nice. I live in a 1-bedroom, 1-bathroom apartment with my girlfriend. Arizona is a state full of ancient Native American history. I live next to the Yakima Canal, as do many Arizonians. The whole place used to be cities of ancient Native Americans. The point is, in the area, we kind of believe in skinwalkers. Anyway, I'll get to my story. Yesterday I was drinking, one of the things I picked up during the COVID-19, and I decided to smoke a bowl on my apartment patio, which I usually don't do, mind you. I just finished loading up my pipe and taking the first hit when I heard a voice. Someone was nearby. "Oh, Amanda, please open the door." It was a young, probably in the 20s girl voice, talking, and it sounded calm and teasing. It continued on as I tried to ignore it, smoking my last bud. After about 4 times of this repeating itself, my curiosity caused me to look for the source. I saw an apartment building facing across from me. Movement. I saw a dog standing on its hind legs, leaning on the door, tapping. At first I shrugged it off, of course, not out of the usual. Then I heard the voice again. It sounded exactly the same as last time. Exactly the same, as if you recorded their voice and that sentence and replayed it once again. There wasn't any other sound or movement in the complex. I watched the thing knock on Amanda's door for like 30 seconds, in what I would call a state of shock and curiosity. Then it stopped, and didn't move for another 20 seconds. How unusual. Until the dog thing stood up all the way up, away from the door, on its hind legs, and turned to face me. It made eye contact with me, which is very weird, because we were at least 50 yards away. I'm on the 3rd floor, it's on the 2nd, but I felt it was just staring into my soul. I held its eye contact. I was so scared, I felt like I should run, and that wasn't even the weed talking. Then, it got on all 4s and headed down the stairs, slowly. I thought I should run or hide, but for some reason, I had to know what this thing was going to do. I walked close to my balcony. Yes, it was a dog. A brownish yellow, dirty looking thing with big eyes that were 100% attentive to mine. It didn't seem natural, to be honest, but nothing looked wrong at first glance, except that it was staring into my very being. As soon as I got to the stairs, I ran inside and locked my doors. Soon I heard clawing at my door, a dog chewing at my door. Then I heard the door handle jiggle. Then it stared at my porch door. I, of course, never answered. Instead, I hid behind my kitchen counter with a knife. After about 30 minutes, it left. I stayed up all night, but I didn't see it again, and I didn't go out again. I'm hoping it doesn't come back. I haven't gone outside at night again. I'm burning sage, trying to be as careful as possible, and I will never, ever let it get that close to me again. Hey guys, thank you for staying to the end of this video. I know this is kind of out of the ordinary with my channel, and I make gaming videos and whatnot, but I just wanted to do something different for Halloween, so I hope you enjoyed it. It was also my first time at narration, so please bear with me. Happy Halloween, guys. Remember, be safe and spooky. This is K-norr signing off. Bye!